Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Devotions World Timeout. This is not Daily Devotions with Devon. This is World Changer podcast. And yeah, I'm keeping that in. I'm keeping that in. Sorry, I used to do a Daily Devotions back in 2021 to 2023. Different. Actually, those devotionals that I've read back in 2021 to 2023, uh, they became these books. Not the specifically devotionals, but the topics that were swirling around them, especially within the culture in the United States, etc., etc. Anyways, this is the World Changer podcast, where I pretty much just go over a little bit into the deeper details of the books that I wrote. The first one is How We Treat People Matters, and the second book that I wrote is Healthy Relationships. Now, I care so much about all of you that I want you to be able to read these if possible. So there are actually free PDF copies in the link in the description below. There's no excuse. You can read them for free. Now, if you want to support me and my business, which is actually Soaring Song Studios, completely different conversation, but if you want to, you can actually purchase these books off of Amazon. Link in the description below. All right, now let's jump into it. Currently, right now, we're reading Healthy Relationships, and we are in chapter 7. Okay, chapter 7, which means this is podcast 7. Sweet. Also, my name is Devon. This is a World Changer podcast, where my mission is to help encourage people to pursue healthier relationships and also to create more jobs in the entertainment industry. So let's start in chapter 7. Chapter 7, family relationships, right? It's important. So let's jump right into it. Family is where we first learn about relationships. It's where we form our early understanding of love, respect, trust, and communication. An elevation person, that's what we're focusing on. An elevation person is pretty much a person that I'm encouraging you to inspire to be, and then also to find other people who can be an elevation person. Try to look for those qualities. So that's what these books are about. Trying to be, not trying to be, but being intentional about becoming an elevation person. Right? Okay, so an elevation person brings their positive qualities into their family relationships and creates a nurturing environment where everyone can grow. All right. So let's just think about that. Let's let that marinate a little bit. Family is where we first learn about relationships. Very true, right? You have a family, I'm assuming. I have a family. I was about to say I'm assuming, but that wasn't a funny joke. But, we all have families, whether they're related or unrelated. We've built relationships with people. And many times, how we learn about relationships is within our families. A lot of our healthy habits, we can in fact learn them in our families, but also unhealthy habits, we can learn them within our family, right? We watch how our parents, live. You see how mom and dad are living, the things they're doing, the things they're choosing not to do, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, right? Your cousins, nieces and nephews, grandchildren. You're seeing all of these different habits and decisions that people within your family and my family, our family, are making. So we learn a lot about relationships. Learn a lot. And let me just emphasize on this again. It's where we form our early understanding of love, respect, trust, and communication. We learn a lot of that within our families. We do. I'll keep it moving. Uh, the next part is respecting our differences. Also, by the way, we are on page 10. Page 10. Well, this is 5, but page 10. Okay. Um, Respecting our differences. Every family member is unique. Every family member is unique with their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Right? I'll repeat that again. Every family member is unique with their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. An elevation person respects these differences and values each family member for who they are. Think about that now. All of our family members are unique, right? How many times do you hear parents say, I had 2 or 3 kids and, they all turned out different, right? How many times have you heard people say that? Or you might have, I was going somewhere with that, but that's pretty much all I had on that. But seriously, you'll have family members and they're different. They have these unique traits, specific traits. You have some family members who have a lot of similarities, amongst themselves and other possibly relatives or parents, etc., etc. But there's a uniqueness to each and every person that you meet in your family, and in their uniqueness, they have different skills, gifts, talents, abilities, right? Preferences, principles, perspectives, all of that. Right? People are different. So, an elevation person, right, respects these differences and values each family member for who they are. Right? Now, that can actually go many different avenues, many different avenues, and that's probably going to require additional videos. Right? I'll bring up something positive, and there's probably somebody who's watching this video that says, well, my experience says, and then we go down the rabbit hole. But I respect those rabbit holes because chances are those rabbit holes have a lot of real experiences attached to them. So I'm not dismissing those, let's say, rebuttals to the things that I'm talking about within this book. I'm not dismissing them, at least not outright. Okay, all right, or not deliberately for the most part. So let's keep going. Building open communication. Open and honest communication. Emphasis on the honest. Open and honest communication is really important in maintaining healthy family relationships. It really is. Now, I want to throw something out there because I don't think I've put this out there. Disclaimer. Ooh, maybe I should put a disclaimer in front of these videos. I'll do it after this. But yeah, that's a good idea. Disclaimer. I am not a therapist. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm literally just a guy who made some observations, read my Bible, got plugged in the church. Maybe I shouldn't use the phrase plugged in. People might not understand that. Read my Bible. I go to church. I listen to my pastor. I applied the wisdom from the Bible to my life. Still working on it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if I'm a hotshot and I know and understand everything. I literally just wrote these books because these are principles that helped me a lot. And I believe that God was leading me to write these books. So I'll stay on track. But yes, I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I am none of those things. Do I have interest in them? Yes, I have interest in mental health, but I am not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. All right. So you can take all of the information that you get in these books. I don't want to say take it as entertainment. It's not really accurate. I don't think that's really legitimate. I would say take it as generous advice from somebody who cares about you. Generous advice. Take everything from these books as just generous advice. That's it. Generous advice. You can take it or leave it. Yeah, I definitely got to make a disclaimer about that. People are going to think I'm like some kind of guru doctor with a MBA. No, that's not me. All right, I'll keep going. But there is truth in this, and you can tell for yourself if there's truth in this or it's false and it's fake, and then you can 100% dismiss everything that I'm saying. All right, so building open communication. Open and honest communication, I know I read this before, I'm reading it again, is really important in maintaining healthy family relationships. An elevation person encourages this communication, creating a safe space. Think about that. Safe space where everyone can express their feelings and concerns, right? So we're having open communication, honest communication to maintain healthy family relationships. Being open, we're being honest, we're not being fake about what we truly think, how we truly feel, right? And we're encouraging that elevation person is encouraging this communication, which is cultivating and creating a healthy, safe space, healthy environment for people within the family to express how they're feeling and expressing their concerns. Now, the key point here is to a safe space. All right. Yes, there will be guardrails. Yes, there will be healthy boundaries. What would be healthy guardrails and healthy boundaries? All right, let's have an example. Not an example. A short list. The do's and the don'ts. Meaning, a lot of times. Oh, perfect example. A lot of times when people are within family, excuse me, are having discussions, right? There will be a lot of you always and you nevers, right? You always and you never, and I always and I never, right? There's a lot of generalizations when people are speaking that way, but many times they're not very accurate. Usually when somebody says, you always do this or you never do this, right? Speaking to somebody in a very heavily aggressive, sure. Speak passionately, okay. But to speak out of respect, right? Safe space, a safe, healthy environment. A safe space doesn't mean that you never discuss challenging topics within your family. A safe space does not mean that you don't have controversial discussions. Maybe that is for some people, but from my short, small perspective, just me speaking here, a safe space means you can talk about pretty much anything and everything and be able to have a healthy conversation with the other person within your family, whether they agree with you or they disagree with you, right? That's what it's about. Because let me tell you something. There is something so special when you can sit down and have a conversation with somebody within your family. And it can be about something simple or something deep or something light. But if it's about a really heavy, controversial topic and discussion, and you're able to speak openly, right, and honestly, but hopefully with a foundation of love, because this is your family member, and be able to understand that that person on the receiving end of what you're talking about loves you and respects you and genuinely cares about you, that can create a healthier bond within the family, which strengthens the family. And we need more of that. This is just my opinion, but I believe, right? My opinion right here is that we need healthier families. We need healthier relationships, healthier families, healthier unions, right? That's what I believe. You can agree, you can disagree. That's what I believe. All right, keep going. Is that it? Oh, that's it. Ha, sweet. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of chapter 7. Yeah, these chapters are short, man. Because when I wrote this book, I wanted to make sure that pretty much anybody could read. Do you see how thin this book is? This book is thin, man. It's thin. There's no excuse. Read it. Tell me what you think in the comments below. See if it edifies you, if it encourages you, great. If you think it's absolutely lame and it sucks, hey, go ahead. Share your opinion. Yeah, you have the full freedom to do so. Once again, my name is Devon. This is the World Changer podcast. I'm starting to think these podcasts, I mean, they're literally just videos, and normally you have people. I'm using the word podcast very casually here, but maybe it'll grow into something more robust or whatever. But all I know is that all this platform and podcast stuff really means that that's a responsibility that rests on each person's shoulders, because everything that's coming out of my mouth, I gotta, not only do I hold myself accountable to it, but I also believe that God holds me accountable to everything that I'm saying, right? And I'm actually applying, before these books, am I applying what the Bible says in my life, right? That's the first and most important thing, which is probably why it took me so long to start doing all this social media stuff. But that's a story discussion for another time. This is Devon. That's my name. World Changer Podcast, where my mission is to encourage people to pursue healthy relationships and to create more jobs within the entertainment industry with my company, Soaring Song Studios, which is pretty much a company to create anime and manga and a whole bunch of cool shows, action cartoons. Yeah, and I'm working on it. And hopefully, God continues to open doors and connect me with the right people to be able to create stories that help people elevate. All right, see you in the next one, and peace.